Okay, we're on to match 4. Currently 3-0. And losing the die roll again. And we're going to keep what amounts to the nut draw. We have to hope our opponent doesn't have force of will. But barring force and some really, really bad dredges, we're going to win. And we're looking even better now. Our opponent's just turn 1 Mother of Runes is pretty, or should be, pretty easily beatable with this hand. So we're just going to do the standard breakthrough, hold priority, crack for red trick. Crack for red for Faithless Looting. We're going to bin 2 dredges now. And we're going to use the fact that the LED bin the dredges to dredge 4 times, then flush back one of the Faithless Lootings that we find, and dredge 2 more times. Now we've whiffed really, looks like we whiffed really badly on bridges. However, I think we've managed to find 1. So I think a Swords to Plowshares will be the name here. Oh wait, we have another LED to dredge the last of our library. So we should have held up until we dredged again. I think we'll just, we crack the diamond now, pop the other looting. And now we can therapy away the rest of their hand. And we've now found all our bridges, so they have no reasonable way of coming back from this. I think Flicker Wisp is the scariest creature in their hand at the moment. Revoker doesn't actually do anything. Flicker Wisp can block a zombie and kill a zombie at the same time. Oh, we shouldn't have bothered naming Revoker, but whatever. It hardly matters. I guess that's the creature they can play next turn. And I would expect them to just scoop here. If they don't, we're probably best off just dread returning an Icarid or similar, but they don't even bother. Against DnT, there's an argument for Nature's Claim, and there's an argument for Lotus Petal. So I think on the draw, Nature's Claim is probably better. Nature's Claim on the draw lets us deal with Rest in Peace, whereas on the play, I think we want Lotus Petals. So we've cut a couple of LEDs, we've cut a Breakthrough, we've cut a Careful Study, and a Pimp and a Thug. I think maybe we're better off cutting Putrid Imps in this matchup. The reason to cut Putrid Imps in this matchup is because we want to go fast. We don't want to give them targets for Revoker. We don't want to give them time to get a Containment Priest down. Ideally, we want to just be as fast and consistent as possible. Putrid Imps let us grind a little better. But if we want to be playing a short game, then they take a little bit too long to get online properly. Yeah, so I think this is me making up my mind on that now. I still think removal on the draw, just in case they go something like turn one Vial or Mum or whatever it is, turn 2 Rest in Peace, as that's probably our worst scenario. Whereas something like a Containment Priest can be Firestormed, we can Flashback Therapy through it after hard casting Idiots. There's things that we can do to get around it. So now we've gone all in on acceleration. We probably have to mulligan to a fast hand, which this is not. This is a much better hand. We want to bottom the Amalgam. Actually, maybe we should have topped it. I think maybe we should have topped the Amalgam. While really what we want is another Dredger. Oh, Breakthrough's nice. So Breakthrough should let us repeat last game. Barring Surgical Extraction, which is unusual out of DnT, but isn't unheard of. We're having some shocking luck with our... So we shouldn't therapy here, we need to Faithless Looting first. So we've been making some bad decisions along the way. So I don't think we can afford to play around Mindbreak Trap here. When realistically, if they get another turn, we can end up in trouble. And now they have double removal spell in hand, and we haven't managed to hit a single bridge. So this is exactly the kind of position we don't want to be in. I mean, it's very surprising that we saw like 41 cards and no bridges. It's one of the unfortunate things of playing with Dredge. You have very little control as to what comes out of your deck. And while it is entirely possible to win a game without bridges, it's not going to happen against a white deck, unfortunately. I think we're okay to actually Icarid now. We want to give them reason to use their swords and so on. Okay, we really should have therapied there. So we can see there's all these little decisions that are starting to cause us a problem. So if we'd stopped and therapied them for swords or path, it doesn't matter which, they would then have to burn, or they'd then be more inclined to burn a removal spell on a zombie. And I think we could have afforded to sack the Amalgam to force them to use a removal spell on an Icarid. And the removal spell on the Icarid would have let us would have left us with a second Ichorid in our graveyard, which we use with the used to trigger the next Amalgam. A Vile Activation here means Containment Priest, and we're not going to beat it at this point. So we'll just submit the same. We're a bit too late to, I think, just play Draw Go till we find a Firestorm. Our opponent's going to be able to equip the sword next turn, and that's just going to spell end of game for us. I think game 3 we're going to be quite favoured. We're considerably faster than our opponent. He can't really do much, if anything, until his second turn. And if we keep a half decent hand, we're likely to be able to do quite a lot. And we need to mulligan that hand. It doesn't do anything. We can keep this hand. Okay, so I think we actually keep this hand, and what we do is we play Lion's Eye Diamond, Cephalid Colosseum. Hope we don't get Wastelanded. And then what we do is we crack LED in our upkeep, draw Stinkweed Imp, and then I think we should be able to Cephalid Colosseum afterwards. So that should be the appropriate line of play, barring Wasteland. So this is too soon. Oh wait, no, we need to go through our draw step, it doesn't matter. Okay. So we'll draw Stinkweed Imp. Crack for blue and then Colosseum. And this is very likely to find us a good enough hand to punish our opponent, and unfortunately we have once again whiffed really badly on a Dredger. So we're having a really poor run at this league, with very little that we're able to do. So the therapy here isn't terrible. We probably want to name... We have another therapy, so we want to name Rest in Peace and... Rest in Peace and Containment. Rest in Peace or Containment Priest. Swords is fine. And so we hit the Rest in Peace. We want to take the Swords as well, because next turn we want to start using Ichorids to drown our opponent. And if we leave the Swords in their hand, then we're no longer able to do that. So there's a reason to take the Stoneforge Mystics. They're going to be able to cast one of them next turn. Maybe we should take the Stoneforge Mystics here. How many Ichorids? We can only reanimate one Ichorid. So yeah, we really need to take the Swords. Actually, no, we should have taken the Stoneforge Mystics. We should have left them with nothing in hand and pressured them into swordsing a zombie. We're under no pressure to reanimate the Ichorid until we're ready. That was an error. Yeah, they don't particularly want to burn a swords on a zombie when we have 2 of them, and stripping the hand of everything of value was by far the best play we could have made. The zombie's going to be nice. It's going to generate us 3. Sorry, the Icarid's going to be nice. It's going to generate us 3 zombies. The Stinkweed Imp should start finding us more gas, but the Stoneforge Mystic is going to start finding Jittes, or Swords of Fire and Ice, or whatever it is that they need to start just shooting down our zombies, which, given our hand has been quite slow, is something they're going to be able to do. Alright, so we get one of our Icarids. We won't eat anything with the other. And we're just going to pass and let it die. Maybe we should bash. We should probably bash with the Icarid. So the reason to bash with the Icarid here is to kill the Stoneforge Mystic, if possible. So it should be the Icarid only that we bashed with, because we want to preserve the bridges. So we've made a bunch of just wild misplays here. And while it's theoretically possible we're going to just be able to grind them out with our Icarid value, it's looking less and less likely that's a good plan. So if we just had 8 zombies on the board and an Icarid in our graveyard, then we would have been in a really, really nice position to basically just keep grinding them out. Whereas now we're kind of pushed into attacking with everything that we have in the hope that they misplay. And our opponent's now going to opponent's now going to be able to drop a piece of equipment into play. And we just missed a chance to attack. And now we have a Batterskull with a Sword of Fire and Ice, which is something I don't think we can beat with what we have on the board. It's going to start shooting down our creatures, drawing our opponent cards and gaining them life. So they've effectively stabilized in a way that we're not going to be able to beat. So yeah, we can concede here.